Welcome everyone to another edition of Getting Techy With It. Today we are here to talk about building your event and giveaway systems. If you build it, they will come. Today is all about bringing people together to some value and then taking that value and finding business from the data that you've collected, the value that's been given. That is the whole story that we're doing here today. There's an exchange of data. I'm going to offer value in multiple ways. I'm going to ask for data in return for that value. And then you're going to see some actions you can take to turn that value and data into deals, into income. That's what I believe most of us are here for. And if you just came on Zoom, I'm going to hit the link again in the chat for y'all. If you missed it the first time around, this is the resource pack. Of course, Derek just came in right after I did that, so I have to do it again. We'll let him get in there. All right, and we have some house cleaning to first talk about. And I always like to start my classes with our belief system here at Keller Williams. Take a moment just to peruse the list if you haven't looked at these in a while. Our belief system helps us know how to make decisions in the moment. Win-win or no deal, integrity, customers, commitment, communication, creativity, teamwork, trust, equity, and success. That's a lot to focus on in one class. So I'd like to bring in the focus a little bit more. And first, I'd like you to focus in on this one, commitment in all things. And I choose this one for this class because events take a commitment. They don't happen on their own. They take a lot of work up front to be successful in the moment. And if you're not committed to that success, your event might not turn out the way that I talk about in this class. If you're skipping steps, it might not turn out the way you expect. It takes work to get these to actually work for your business. And if you're not committed, well, let's have a one-on-one and talk about why. I would love to. But I also want you to bring your creativity to this. This is one of the places that when you have a solid process, a solid system to follow, that's when you can get creative. And I want you to bring your creativity with your ideas around what kind of events you can hold. Because this system works whether you're doing a micro event at a happy hour at a brewery in Lakewood, or if it's a massive client event renting out the zoo for 1,000 people, this system works for both. Your job is to determine who should be invited to the event and then market that event to them. That's your job. And I'm going to show you how to do that today from every step so that you can identify people in your database who need to be invited, get them on a touch plan, and then run that event so that you can get more people in and collect the right data. The data is such an important piece to this, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But the Y4C2Ts, don't forget about these. They're important. They're also on our wall right over there. If you need a reminder, there's a big cute, I don't know if that's cute. There's a big wall graphic over there of all of them. Looks really cool. Second, the TCPA. We are going to talk a little bit about making some phone calls with people, and that means we have to discuss the TPA for just a moment. TCPA stands for the Consumer Protection Act. That is dealing with phone calls and text messages. You need permission to solicit business to any person. If they are on the do not call list and you solicit business to them, you might be hit with a Telephone Consumer Protection Act violation, which you can see over to the side. They are not fun. $500 to $1,500 fines. Here's the thing. It's not our responsibility as a brokerage that you do this. It is your responsibility as an independent contractor to know these laws, to know how to follow them, and know how to comply. And if you're like, holy buckets, Stephen, I don't know how to do that. Well, I have a QR code up here for you that has an excellent link that's going to bring you into KW's documentation of the TCPA guides. My favorite one is a flow chart in there. The flow chart tells you, am I in the TCPA? Yes or no. If I make this phone call and say this thing, I'm in the TCPA or not? Yes or no. And it very clearly shows you when you are and are not complying with the TCPA and when you do and don't have to. Because you don't always, every phone call you make will not fall under the TCPA. It depends on what you're saying in that call, will depend on if you're in the TCPA or not. And to figure that out, I want you to scan the link and go read this documentation. I can tell you, but you might forget, you might be confused. Go find it out here. It's not hard to comply if you know the rules. Okay, so make sure you're following these. Yes, when we talk about sending text through command, those are going to protect you more than if you're sending text messages through your cell phone. Okay, that's one of the reasons to use Twilio in command, is it because it has a stop unsubscribe function that none of your cell phones have. None of your AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile lines will ever have that because they're not in the business of bulk text messaging and they don't want to be. That's why Twilio exists. That's why other messaging companies like that exist, is to give you an alternate way to handle the TCPA. All right, any questions about the house cleaning pieces before we move into our class today? Clear as mud, perfect. Oh, what else here? So let's talk about what we're gonna get into today. Number one, we're gonna talk about why you should run events and giveaways. I'm guessing if you're here, you already are pretty convinced, but I wanna make sure we're on the same page there. And then the ones in black here, those are the ones that we're really gonna get into this system. There's 4 steps to this system: prepare, promote, manage, and follow up. That is the bones of the system, and we're gonna go through all the details of each one. I also have a resource pack for all of you that has files in there that explain these in more detail, and they have videos connected to these so that you wanna see, well, how do I find the smart plan Stephen talked about in the class? Well, you can go through the whole class of 2 hours on the video and find that 2 minutes where I'm gonna go over that later in class, or you can just jump into the resource file where I have a standalone video already there for that activity. And you can just click that video and it shows you right there what you're looking for. So whether you're in prepare, promote, manage, or follow up, there's different folders that show you what you need to do. And then we'll open up for questions and ahas at the end of class. And so let's start with why. I'm reading a book right now called that. Anybody else know that book? Simon Sinek, anybody else fans? Write it down. If you like leadership books, Simon Sinek is my favorite leadership author by far. I don't know if there's anybody better out there in my opinion. But why should we run an event or giveaway? What value does an event or giveaway bring to your business? And this is a question for all of you to answer. If you're on Zoom, jump in the chat. If you're here in person, just go ahead and speak it out. Why should we run events or giveaways?
Be in front of your people for client appreciation, like to give back to your sphere, to be in front of them. And most of it, importantly, whenever you have an event, it's like a 10 touch that you have. 10 times you get to touch them over one single event.
So good. That is one of the main reasons, is your ability to communicate with value. So often agents are afraid to pick up their phone and make their DTD2 calls because, well, I get the DTD2, but what do I say? Well, that's an absence of value. You're not sure what value to bring. You know what to say. Hello, how are you? That's what you say. But if you don't have any value beyond a social conversation, this gets pretty heavy, right? Your phone starts to weigh quite a bit to make that call in an event. Everybody likes to be included. They might not like your event, but they want to be included on the invite because that's human nature, to belong. And when you say, hey, I would love to have you at my event, what's the best email to send the invitation to? That's a great way to collect emails by delivering some value. I'd like you to belong in my group. How do I get you that value? And give me a little data to give you that value. It's always that exchange of here's some value, now give me some data back, okay? So that's one reason. What's another reason to run events and giveaways that Faith didn't mention or we haven't mentioned yet? I've said it like 8 times.
Grow your database.
Yeah, grow your database.
Yep, that is one, not what I'm thinking of, but absolutely growing your database. A good part of this plan is to communicate with your database. The other part of this plan is marketing your event on social media. That's where you get new people. We're not going to find new people in our database very often because they're already in our database. That's how they got the email. But people on social media are all the ones that we're trying to capture the new people from. And so that's a great marker if you're a newer agent or just an agent that needs to grow their database more. That might tell you, I need to market this more on social media because I need more people than just the ones in my database to attend. I need more people to bring into my database through this event, which tells you you need to go heavier on social media. What I have is a start, but you might need to increase the touches on social media for your events, especially if you're in a place where your database needs more growth, then you need more touches to the people already in it, okay? Now, I'm not gonna make you guys play guess what I'm thinking anymore, but the number one reason I run events is for data. How many of you have wonderful numbers of phone numbers and names in your database, but emails, not so much, home addresses, not so much, birthdays? Oh, I didn't even know we could put those into command. If that's where you're at, this is a great way to mass collect data where I give a little value. Hey, I'd like you to come to this event, or I'd like you to participate in this giveaway. And then I ask for data in return, first name, last name. I ask for their phone number. I ask for their email address, their birthday, their current address. And that's just the contact information that I collect. On top of that, I'm asking them, do you want to buy, sell, or invest in land? Well, so we ask it, do you want to buy or sell? Nope. Never mind. Why should I try and remember? I'll show you guys the form in a minute. But the data collection is key. This is where we turn this in from just a social fun thing to do with people we like into a business return on our investment is through the data that we collect. We talked about the reasons to reach out, and Faith also mentioned this is how you build relationships with people at scale. Faith's a great example. We're just 12,000, 13,000 now? 15,000 people in her database. Do you think that she can build personal relationships with all of them one-to-one? No, that would be her entire year. But if she can hold an event and get 100 of those 15,000, now she can build relationships with 100 people at one time, right? They come to her then instead of her trying to go to all of them. This is giving you the ability to scale relationships through events, especially events. Giveaways, not so much. Giveaways are a slightly different play. Do we need to go over the difference between an event and a giveaway? Would that be helpful? Okay, because I know sometimes some people think it's the same. Some people are like, how are they at all the same? The promotion is the same. An event is somewhere where we're going to have a location and a time for them to join us to do something. That's an event. Right, there's going to be some type of physical location included in an event. I guess you could run something that has a digital location, which would be like a Zoom room or a Google Meet room where you're holding a virtual seminar, maybe like a virtual buyer class. The team that I work with, we hold a virtual buyer class every month, and it's all on Zoom. We don't have to go get a space. We just host it over Zoom. A giveaway, there's no location. A giveaway, there's a prize that people are registering to enter into the prize or for that prize. Okay, so I say I have a $300 Home Depot gift card, and then I tell people enter to win the gift card. And I give them instructions on what they need to do to enter that giveaway. And that's where your creativity can come as well, is how do they want to enter the giveaway? Could be a form like we're going to see today. You could use your GTWI app as the entry form. You could use a like this post, comment on this post, and share it to your page as the entry for your giveaway. You get to get creative in how you want to capture their entry. But if I'm doing social media, I might lose out on all that contact information. I might lose out on some of that real estate information if I'm using some of those other ways to get people to register. We can talk more on that one-on-one if you have some questions on what should I do when. Follow the model to start. Follow what I'm going to show you today, then get creative. If you're not sure, if it sounds interesting to use your app as a registration form, great. Let's talk about it. But if you've never done an event with running the model, let's say run the model first. Then get creative once you get comfortable with the model. Okay? Have I convinced everyone to run at least one event this year? Or at least one giveaway? Out of events, they can be intimidating because planning a location, getting it locked down, a time, all that can be intimidating. A giveaway, you just need to purchase the prize. You might even work together with other agents to purchase one prize to send out to all your databases, and there's still only one winner across all of them. It's a great way to subsidize your costs, or maybe you get a sponsor to buy that gift, and then you get to put that lender's name in there, and they paid for the prize, and you're just marketing it and collecting the data for it. So lots of ways to go about this, but we'll start with the basic model. And before we go any further, I want you to take just a moment and think about 3 things that you like to do with other people. Write those 3 things down real quick. I'll give you about a minute. Just 3 things you like to do with other people. So you can't say I like to sit in my house by myself and listen to music like Stephen does. You have to choose something you do with people. Let's share out some ideas. What do we like doing with people?
Hiking.
Hiking, I love it. I've seen our QCP group here has run hiking events with their clients. They run micro hiking events. I love that. What else? What else do we like to do with people? Sporting events. Go follow Faith's Instagram and go be jealous of all her Bronco games and Nuggets games she's at. She's like on the court at a Nuggets game.
Yeah.
Oh, so jealous, right? Imagine being the clients of hers watching that, being like, oh, and then she sends you an invite via email that says, you want to come to the Nuggets game with me? Gold, love it. Sporting events, great idea. What else?
Eating.
You say eating?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Somebody in the chat here, Tiffany mentioned eat food with other people. I can't tell you how many agents just run dinner parties every week. New people, invite 4 friends, tell them to invite 4 other people you don't know. You get to touch your database and grow your database at the same time once a week, dinner party. Get it catered if you don't know how to cook. It's easy. Well, not easy, simple. Simple. What else? Eat food, what else? Keep them coming. Doing artwork. Ooh, Brianna, I kind of like that one. Little sip and paint action maybe with doing some art together. Could you find something else? Love it. Derek, 100% to contacts. Lead generate. Carlos, love it. What else? What else do we like to do with others? Concert. Yeah. Music. I love it. You could put on a concert, or maybe you invite others to a concert, or maybe it's just your VIPs that you call and say, hey, I have 2 extra tickets to this concert. Would you be interested? Well, you didn't plan to go anyway. You just bought the tickets to give away, but they don't need to know that. You just tell them, hey, I have some extra tickets. I can't make it. Would you want them? How nice would it be to get a call from your real estate agent that you just purchased a home from 2 years ago, and they say, hey, I got some tickets. Do you want them? It's a great way to bring value to people. And what I'm trying to get you to hear is that events can be whatever you want them to be. And they should align with the things that you like. If you like eating food with other people, figure out a way to incorporate that. If you don't try and do a food event. I'll bring this back to commitment. It is so much easier to commit to an event that you're excited about so that you do all the work necessary to share that excitement with other people so that they can feel it too, okay? If you align these events to your personality and your likes, the commitment does not seem as big because you're excited about it. And if you listen to the MREA podcast, you've heard at least 5 agents over the last month or 2 months talk about how they run their real estate businesses completely through events. They don't do any other touches. Like the guy in Ohio, I think. 10 events a year, 10 touches, or 4 events per year, 10 touches per event. That's their database touch program. 4 events, 10 touches an event. That's all they do. So nothing more. And it's like, I think he does, that event is a big like dinner party in his front yard.
Oh, yeah, I heard that one.
If you were at the class on Friday, half the yard is for the kids, the other half of the yard is for the adults, white linen tablecloths for the adults, jump houses and slip and slides and stuff for the kids. You come in, parents sit down, they're served, kids get to play like maniacs, there's babysitters there to make sure they're good, adults get to have a great day. He does that once a quarter. It says 10 touches around that event. They can be whatever you want them to be. from coffee dates with you and one other person to massive events, taking 800 people to the Rockies game. This system works for all of it, okay? So hopefully we got your gears turning. Now this is meant to be intimidating. This that you see on here, this is the full plan, all in one place. It shows you the 6 weeks that this plan goes through. So that's what I need you to understand on this. This is a 6-week plan before the event. So if you're planning to run an event in February, you need to start planning now. This is when you start. 6 weeks before the event, there are 2 weeks of prep. Week 6 and 5 before the event is to prepare for the next 4 weeks, where you will promote the event for 4 weeks straight. Over those 4 weeks, you're going to start a SMART plan starting on the 4th week. That SMART plan is going to send an email in week 4, a text message in 3, an email in week 2, and a text message in week 1. And then there are some further instructions for the week of the event. And there's some follow-up tasks as well. And Roxanne, I'm going to send all this to you. You're going to get it. So you don't, this, you can see it up here if you want and take pictures, that's fine. But this will be available for you to save for your computer, that you can access all of this on the next slide. Okay, and not even the next slide, this slide, it's coming up. And so to get that, you're going to see, I'm going to share with you a Google folder here in just a moment. This is what the folder looks like when you pull it up on your computer. There are the 4 different sections that we're going to talk about today, broken up for you. There also is a couple of just generic documents you're going to see in there. I added a couple more after I took this screenshot. But here's the key. On your computer, you will click on this title, come down to organize, and go add shortcut. That will place a shortcut in your Google Drive so that you can always access these after the class. You don't have to go find the link. I will send you the link in the follow-up email after the class if you registered. If you did not register for the class, just come up to me after the class and make sure I have your name down, and I will get you that email. If you're on Zoom, just put your email in the chat if you didn't register, and I'll get you on the list for this link. But you'll have it here just by scanning this QR code. So if you'd like to get them now, scan the QR code. It's a little different on your phone. When you tap on your phone, you're going to hit these 3 dots after you scan the code. This menu will pop up, and you'll see that add shortcut to Drive on your phone as well. That is the best way to access this and maintain that access for the future, is just add the shortcut to your Drive. This will be very important. This has a lot of value in here from the videos I mentioned earlier that are shorter. This explains the system in multiple steps so that you can go through it piece by piece at your own pace. Any questions about the resource folder? The link, the QR code worked, hopefully? Good, 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 good. Okay, now we are set up to talk about the system. So let's get into it. The first step is the preparation. Prep week 1, which is 6 weeks before your event. First thing to do is lock down the 3 W's. So if you're taking notes, this is the first step you do with an event. 3 W's. What is the event going to be? When is the event going to be? Where is the event going to be? Now there are 3 W's for giveaways, kind of 3 W's. For giveaways, I still say 3 W's, but it's what are you giving away? When do they need to register by? And how? There's a W in how, so I count it. How will they register? Are they going to use a form? Are you going to do a reverse bold? Anybody ever heard of a reverse bold? That was a couple years ago in the bold scheme. The way that works is instead of somebody registering through a link, they're given a window of time and a phone number to call during that window to register, which it would be your phone number. From this time to this time, call to register for this giveaway. And the intention is for them to call you instead of you reaching out to them. It is very interesting. I've run it a few times, and I'll tell you, was the result. We were in that room, in the big conference room. We were all there, 9 to 5, waiting for our phone calls to come in. From 9 to noon, hardly anything came in. So I said, no, we're not going to let this event fail because of this strategy. So then we pulled up our invite list and just started making calls and saying, can I register? We ended up just doing the normal stuff anyway. And so for us, in our when we were running that campaign, the reverse bolt did not work well for us. We tried it again, same result. So we went back to the normal way. You might have better luck, and it depends on the event, it depends on the giveaway. Oh, Brianna, back. Oh no.
It's a giveaway.
That's on a giveaway.
You were giving away like an iPad or something.
I mean, for that one, we were giving away like a $4,000 prize and we still didn't get that many calls. We got some, but we didn't get that many but it was like 3 nights. I think that one was, I think like 3 nights in Vail with like a 2-day ski pass, and it was a good package. And that's why when you call somebody and say, hey, are you skiing this year? You are? Let me register for this. Do you have a couple minutes to answer some questions for me? Yes. And then we just go through the form for them, put in the information. Oh, I don't have a minute? Great, I'm gonna text you the link to register if you don't have a minute. All right, so little adaptation, but that's something you need to decide up front with your giveaways is how will they register for this giveaway? So 3 W's, that's the start. That's where we start our events. Next, you need to create a registration link. Whether that's a Google form or some form on Calendly, there's so many different ways to build a form out there. I suggest using Google. You will see in the resource file right in here, if you go into the prepare section, because remember we're talking prepare, you will see this 2026 example event giveaway form. It works for both. So let's take a look at this. First thing I want you to know is when you open this up, it is helpful to click on the 3 dots and click make a copy so that you can have your own copy in your drive. So when you edit it, you don't screw up my stuff. Okay, so thank you for not screwing up my stuff. You need to edit this form after you copy it, because you can see this form is an example. You don't want this text in there. That part you need to edit. And then at the very end, you need to edit the very last question. Why do we put this question in here? Why does it only have a yes as an answer?
For the TCPA. Yes.
Exactly. This is our TCPA. To help us with that, this gives me permission. So if they fill out my form, I don't need to check the DNC. I have explicit permission from them that is documented. So if they ever said, hey, I'm on the do not call list, you're not supposed to solicit business to me, I can say, well, that's fine, you're on the call list, you gave me permission. This is our permission. And so, yeah, replace agent name and business name with your information. You also may want to adjust this question. Take a look at this. This is a really, really awesome way to know what your database wants or to deliver the value you already have. Monthly newsletter, check off. I suggest come up with a better name for your newsletter than monthly newsletter, right? We use the Denman Group Digest for my team. Simple, kind of goofy. When I worked for the Phoenix here, we did a newsletter called the Firebird. Phoenix, Firebird, get it? It's fun, right? Come up with a cool name. Career night, get into real estate, home buyer class, home investor class, smart seller class. I'll tell y'all, we don't run an investor class. Why would I put that in there if I don't run an investor class myself?
See if they want it.
Exactly. If I get 100 entries telling me they're interested in investor classes, guess what my next event is? An investor class. And even if I can't run it, I'm gonna go find somebody who can, and then I'm gonna build that event and invite people to it. If I get a lot of responses telling me they want that, how else could you use it? How else could you put an offering in here that's like an investor class that you don't do, but you wanna know if somebody wants that value? Buyer classes. We put in other events that are coming up in here, because then that tells us, hey, if they want to go to Mother's Day tea with us, we should probably call them on top of the emails and not just rely on the emails. So this data, remember when I said data is the key? This is what I'm talking about. Data that's going to help me in the future be more valuable to them. And then the rest of these questions are all about real estate. So we collect all their contact information. Would you like to purchase a home or investment property? Yes, no, maybe. Are you curious about what your home, land, or commercial property is worth? Yes, no, in a few months. Are you considering selling? Yes, no, maybe. Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate? I get pushback from agents on this question all the time. Anybody else feel a little goofy about asking that?
No,
Good, because it works.
not that one.
Every event we run, we get 4 to 10 people saying, yes, contact me, I have a referral. Those are the first calls we make, right? Those are calls we don't wait for the event to happen. When they register and that shows up on the registration list, we call them right away. Thank you for registering. We're so excited to see you. We noticed that you put down, you had a referral for us. We'd love to service them right away. Is there a way that you could connect us over a group text message? Yes or no? Simple. This question works. But do you notice that I have 3 options on a lot of these questions? Why do you think I have all these maybes in there?
It's not a no.
It's what?
It's not a no. You could
It's
talk
not
to
a
them.
no, right? Because there's people who are in between yes and no. Those soft answers is what I call them when they're like, maybe. It's a soft answer. I treat them just like yeses.
It's a good way to call them and say, what did you mean by maybe?
Yeah, I saw you put down that you might be interested. Tell me more. What would stop you? What would make you want to move? Those are the questions that when I call them, that brings value to them. And I'm not now just looking for what next check can I get? I'm looking to help people when I can use this data and then make my follow-up align to what they tell me in here. Okay? This form creates business. That's why I say, if you don't know how to register for your giveaway and you're not sure, just follow the form. This will give you great information. Even if 10 people register for your giveaway, you're gonna have more information than you did before. You will be blown away at how well this works. And now you have it for your own use. You all have access.
Sometimes I see them, and would you be interested in any of the following, and then they say other and leave a blank to fill it in.
Mhm.
What do you think about that? Too many
Maybe,
mixed
I mean,
answers.
you'll notice that all of these are not open questions because sorting open question data, when I receive that data, it's really hard to organize it because there's no structure. All of this puts their answers into a very specific bucket for me, and I turn all their answers into tags in command. So when they say, would you be interested in, they check off career night and home investor class, well, they get a home investor class tag. They get a career night tag. If they tell me, yes, contact me, they get a has referral tag. And I leave that tag on there until I get that referral from them. Once I get the referral, I delete the referral tag off. They don't have it anymore because I got it. All these others, considering selling, wants to sell in 2026 if they say yes. No tag for no, maybe, interested in selling in 2026. I treat them the same way in terms of follow-up cadence. The messaging is a little different from maybe selling in 2026 to we want to, right? Because they're not that different, but it's a slightly different message I'm going after each one with.
Does this automatically feed into your CRM?
It does not automatically. There is a way to make it do that if you'd like. It does have a monthly charge associated with it. That's pretty reasonable. It's $19. But yes, you can make this push into your command if you want to.
What is it?
API Nation is the connection that you connect the Google Sheet into command. You can also connect it with a Zap. If you're familiar with Zapier, Zap costs money as well, up or until 100 leads. I think the first 100 leads it pushes through for you are free for the month. So you might be able to get away with using a Zap for free instead of the $19 API connection. And the result is the same in either case. And we can go deeper into, we can set up some automations that when people go through the Zap, that they get tagged in a certain way, or the tags from here get built into the system right away. That's level 2, I would say. If you haven't run this, run it normal. And then if you're like, Steven, I'm really committed to these events, this works so well, I need some more efficiency, then let's talk one-on-one about how to build in that efficiency for you. Because I'll tell you, if you're getting 3 to 4 registrations a week, you don't really need to have automations. It's convenient, but we should not do things for efficiency if we're losing effectiveness. And I want you in your database. I want you going in there and tagging them and looking at them and calling them and taking a note and setting a follow-up. I want you in your CRMs. I want you in command to do this stuff.
It'll give you a response that's a spreadsheet. You can just upload that into command, right?
Correct, yeah. So it is an easy import when you do, because you can
add a
see
tag on that spreadsheet.
when you run your form, it links it to a Google Sheet. So you just get a spreadsheet of all your answers. And then I take those answers, I do a little magic with some Excel formula stuff, and then it gives me my tags. When you're ready for that extra Excel formula, that's not a class topic. It is too advanced to throw at you like a 500 character Excel formula. I think that's probably not productive for most of us. Some of you might be comfortable there and be like, Steven, give it to me, but not during class. Peter,
So this is a Google form, you said?
correct.
Okay, so is it, if you want to tweak it or redesign,
Copy.
change the questions or whatever?
Yep.
Does it have a default or whatever to put in those asterisks so they can't move on beyond it?
Yeah, when you're building your form, right down here, every question will have that little required button. And so if I want it required, I turn it on. If I don't, I turn it off. You'll see on mine, everything's required. There's nothing in here that's not required in our form, including this last piece, that if they don't answer yes, they can't submit the form. Because if they don't submit the form and I can't follow up with them, I'm not interested in their data. Because I need this for my return on my investment of my time and money put into this event or giveaway. So if they don't want to participate in this, that's fine, but they're not going to participate in my giveaway either.
Expensive.
I'm sorry, that was a simple thing and I didn't even notice it.
Yeah. And it's hidden, you have to click on the question to get that to appear. Right, so when you just look at it normal, you don't see that, but then you get the details when you click on the question in this mode so that I can change anything I need to about the form. Duplicate, we're not going to get too detailed in there. All right, let's jump back to our. So we just talked about creating our registration page or link. Oh, here, let me just show you that. See this little link button up here? There's one piece that I need you all to understand here, else you're going to have a hard time. If you're using your KW account as your Google Workspace, that's fine. But when you come in here and publish, it's going to automatically default this to where it will say Keller Williams Incorporated only. You want to change that to anyone with the link. Okay. And again, when you hit the publish button, because this will say publish, not past tense like it does now, because I've already published this one. When you click on that, it'll pop up with this box, but it'll say the Keller Williams part right here. Just hit manage and then change it from only Keller Williams to anyone with the link. Because your account will default to only Keller Williams. Question in the chat. How can I get them?
Oh.
Here you go, Carlos. The link is in the chat, my friend. All right. Next, it says to create invite and guest tags in your database. Okay. So here's what's going on with this piece. We want to know who is supposed to be invited. So we add a tag to the people who should be invited to this event. And then we also create a tag that is that event registered. Okay, so we have event invite tag and event registered tag. 2 tags per event. Let me show you how to make those tags. So I have my command open up here. Here's my list of example contacts. There are 85 people total in my list of contacts. I only am going to invite my B&Es, just my B&E people. So B&Es are all these people that have the B&E tag. So I'm going to select those people. I'm going to click on Frodo Baggins and all the way down to Lola Bunny. And who needs to know what a shift click is? Who doesn't know what a shift click is? Check this out. This is just computer stuff, but you guys get extra education. So I want to select everybody from Frodo to Lola. I could go through and click, 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 or I can click on the person at the top, hold my shift button down, click on the person at the end of the list. The computer will select everybody in between. So watch here, shift button is held down. I'm going to click on Lola and it fills the in between. Shift click is a great way in your computer. Anytime you want to select a list of files, click the one at the top, hold shift, click the one at the bottom, selects everything in between. Okay? Shift click is a very handy tool to use it, whether you're using a PC or a Mac, it's built in. Okay? So I want to invite this group to my happy hour event. So now I need to make that happy hour invite tag. Here's how you do it. You selected the people, And then down at the bottom of the screen, Kathy, down at the bottom of the screen, you're gonna see these other bulk actions. Now, here's a warning. Some of the videos that I have in there for you are a little old. They have the bulk action up here in a menu. You're gonna see me click up here that says actions. Those are down here now. Okay, so when you see it in the videos that are older, just know, oh, those options are at the bottom, not at the top anymore. Simple little twist, but I'm just gonna hit add tag. And we're gonna say happy hour January. That's my event, happy hour in January. And then I need a tag for everybody that I'm going to invite. And you notice no tag showed up. So if no tag shows up when I type it in, what do I need to do? Yeah, make one. Let me get the create tag option. So I'll just hit create tag. I'll choose a color for my events. I like my events to be green. I hit create tag. And you'll see it's already selected for these people way down here. And I hit submit. Now I give it just a moment to refresh the screen. And then now you see the happy hour invite tag is now on all of those contacts. Okay? And here's a little shortcut. If I want to get to that list, just click on the tag. It shows me the people in the invite tag. I got some other stuff going on because of YouTube, but when you click on it, these other people won't show up. It'll just be the invite people. So we make the invite tag. We need to make a registration tag as well. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select Frodo, add tag, and I'm going to call it happy hour January registered green and create. Now, I created the tag, but I don't want to add it to him yet. I just wanted to add the tag to the system. And that's all I did. So I'm going to hit cancel here because I don't want to add the registered tag to Frodo until he does what? Until he registers. Exactly. Because here's how this game works. What we're trying to do is get to our list of who's going to get our invite. So we filter just that tag, our happy hour invite. The next step is to build a smart plan that we're going to assign to all these people. This is how we get to that list quickly without having to go back through command and selecting these 9 people to then add the smart plan. I can just filter the tag and find them right away. This also helps me know, well, who did I invite? They should, if they have the invite tag, they should have received that invite. The email, the text messages that I mentioned before, we'll get into how to get those out next. But here's the key. Your weekly task in those 4 weeks of promotion is to once a week go into command, look at your registration form and say, Frodo Baggins registered. When I see Frodo Baggins has registered for my event, I come into command, I go into Frodo, click on his pencil, and I remove the invite tag and change it to happy hour, January. Registered, good job. Not good at spelling. Because here's the power of this tag. Now I know who's registered, so the day before the event, when I want to send out my instructions, hey, the event's happening tomorrow, just a reminder, it's from this time to this time, the address. Also, parking is a little difficult. Here's how you park, or you need to do this when you get to the event. But any kind of reminder, confirmation, instruction, now I have the list of registered people in command, so I can just filter that tag, just like we did the invite side of things. And then I can send any message, email, text message, call them in that list. But those are my registered people. Those are the people that get the thank you for coming email. And everyone else who's left on my invite tag, those people didn't register. So then after the event, they get the sorry we missed you email. Okay, so this helps you run this whole process. But here's the thing that you got to commit to. Each week you're promoting it, you need to come in here and remove the tag and remove them from the smart plan. Why do I want to remove them from the smart plan?
Because they've already made a decision, so they don't need the rest of the touches.
Exactly.
You can create a different smart plan with a hashtag that when you put them registered for event, it automatically puts them in that hashtag, in that smart plan.
Mhm.
Stack it.
So you can trigger a smart plan by a tag. The only downside to that, Faith, like in this, is if I am triggering the registered tag to like I would only trigger it to like a thanks for registering email,
Right.
right? Not the instruction email that I'd send out, because I don't have control over timing in the trigger. Right, so, but this is a great way for giveaways. That's a really smart play to have an email that says thanks for registering. That as soon as they get that tag, boom, they get that email sent out to them within 30 seconds that says thanks for registering. And in some of those automations, again, I can go through how you can set it up to automatically happen. If it's your first event, I want you worried about getting the system done. We'll work on efficiencies and getting to those extra automations later. Earn your way towards those automations, because I'd hate to go through all the work to teach you and then go, events aren't really for me. Make sure they're for you first by running the basic model.
I have a question.
Please.
I'm having trouble figuring out how to connect real estate to an event. Like, what am I saying? I'm Roxanne, I'm with Keller Williams, and I'm inviting you to it. So how are we doing that? What is it's like disconnected there. I can run a party all day long. Doesn't mean I'm gonna be able to advertise to them.
In my opinion, you don't need to do any advertising to them in the event.
No, I meant afterwards.
Oh, afterward, they consented. They said, yeah.
Oh, okay. Do they know what you're signing them up for?
I hope so.
Well, do you see what I'm saying? I don't understand how you're,
I-
so
I think
let's
you're
say
making
I
it
had
harder
a,
than it needs to be.
maybe.
Are you assuming they know you're in real estate, I guess?
Okay, so is this for people we assume they know I'm in real estate?
Even
Only-
if they don't, when they meet you at the event, then introduce yourself. And then build a relationship then, and then add them into your database.
It's not like you're gonna send this out to 200 people you don't know.
I mean, you
It's
can,
more.
You could.
you totally can, but the whole point is like, the event is just to get people together. And
build.
and then once they're there, you can introduce yourself. And then ultimately, the goal is to have them think of you when they are ready.
So a lot of like sponsoring an event, a
Yeah.
realtor sponsoring an event.
Yeah, like I
So-
did my year of the snake event last year, and I did the year of the dragon the year before. And I did like tarot card readings and palm readings and massages and all this stuff. And people absolutely loved it. And it had nothing to do with real estate, but they will remember me for the rest of their life.
So when you then touch them in the
Yeah.
system, they're like, oh, I never thought about it. She's in real estate.
I had someone come to the event and said, hey, I have a real estate agent. I don't need you to solicit to me. I said, I didn't hold this event to solicit. I'm like, come on in, come enjoy and get your free reading. And who knows, maybe in 5 years when they sell again, they might think of me. So, but ultimately you just have good intentions to build relationships. And when you build relationships, then you just want to be top of mind. And that's where the touches come in after that, is after you built the relationship, is to make sure you keep top of mind.
Everybody already has a real estate.
Sure.
Yeah, everybody has an agent that's a friend or family member that they know.
And this year, probably 5,000 didn't sign up from last year, so they're gonna have fewer friends.
Well, it's like, I think I came up with the same thing, like, do you put a table? Like, if you're hosting, like, let's say a project event where we're all gonna plant pots or something. And do you put up a table with a little sign?
I
Like,
personally don't.
but is it cringy, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Most-
people know what you do, you just have to bring value, that's the key.
Yeah.
They filled out that form that asked them 6 questions about real estate. If they haven't put the pieces together by the
Yeah.
time they arrive at my event, like, oh, you're a real estate agent? No wonder you asked all those questions about my house. Like they'll put it together, and if they don't, that's okay. The best events that I hear people talking about, that's not where you are the salesperson. That is where you are the mayor. Right? You are out making sure that, like, who was at the event on Friday with Jason Abrams?
Oh, that was cool.
The golden table?
Oh, no,
You didn't catch the golden table, you didn't like it.
I didn't.
No.
Can I tell you guys about the golden table?
Yeah.
Tell us.
Hold on, let me pull up my notes, so I don't forget something that
Yeah.
Jason told us.
Oh, it was
Somebody
during
tell
the
everybody else who
speech.
Jason is while I find this. Somebody tell somebody who Jason is.
Well, he's a badass. He actually cares about people. He cares about real estate agents. He wants us to succeed. Like, we're all in this together. And he's very innovative and forward thinking. And the tools that he provides work.
And he does the MRA podcast.
Yeah, he's the host of the MREA podcast. Yeah.
And what else, what's his title though? He's like.
He is the vice president of learning and growth.
Ah.
Yeah. So he's kind of a big deal. He came out here
That's
on
great.
Friday and talked to us. Here's my notes about the golden table for being at an event. This is event specific, not giveaways. So here's the golden table. Rule number 1, every event has a greeter. That's not you.
Oh, this, I love this, yes.
Okay? So every event has somebody else whose job is to, number 1, make everyone smile when they come in. How do they make them smile when they come in? They start with the smile, because when I smile at Ignacio, guess what he does right back to me? He smiled, and he did. You guys didn't see it, but he did. Okay, so they make them smile. Number 2, they thank them for coming to your event on your behalf. They say, hey, Steven sent me up here. He just wanted to make sure to say thank you for coming to the event. And then they point to where I'm sitting at my golden table, and you can go say hello right over there. He's waiting for you. That's your greeter's job. Here's your job. Be at that freaking table. That's number 1. Be at the table. When that person approaches, move around the table to greet them. Okay? When you finish greeting them, thank you, it's so great to see you, catch up a little bit. You walk back around the table after you've given them their instruction of go over there to get your plate or go over there to grab your thank you bag. You're instructing them to go do something. And you walk back around the table, giving a natural close to that conversation, where it might be, come find me later over here so we can chat. Okay? That's the golden table.
So the golden table was where he was sitting.
Yes.
Yeah, so they feel included. Like you said at the very
And it
beginning,
doesn't, 'cause
everybody wants to feel included.
Faith probably knows if you have 100 people at an event and you're not running something like this, you become the server.
Yeah.
Can I get you anything? Do you need anything? You're running around to everybody. You're trying to get to this table, that table, and you don't get any opportunity to actually build any relationships because you're ripped apart by 100 different
Like
people.
party host.
Exactly. And you can't be the party host. You can't be the MC. In that moment, you have to be the mayor, that they come to you. And you need a little support with somebody who's at the front there saying, big smile, thank you for coming on Steven's behalf. He's waiting for you right over there. Go say hello, and he's going to tell you all about the event. Right? Simple little things like that turn events into craziness where you're running around with your head cut off like a chicken with its head cut off, into now you're building relationships. You might have your notepad down there at the golden table so you can scribble down a little note on the conversation of that person you saw that you've been trying to call on DTD2 and they never answer, but they're here today. And so you're going to scribble a note down, go talk to that person, go find them. You might have some targets at that point, but that golden table example gives you the opportunity to actually do that and not be running around. I also suggest a videographer for your event, not a photographer. Photos are great, but you're going to get plenty of photos if you do it right from your event from the people that are there. Tag me in your photos. Tag me in your photos. You'll get plenty. But you got to say it because they won't do it just on their own. Most people aren't that savvy, at my events at least. We got to tell them. Tag me in your photos when you post it on social. Here's my handle on Instagram. Here's my social media on Facebook. Videographers are there to record the event. Video content is gold. It's what all the platforms want. You need it. Videographer does not have to be a $2,000 professional guy with the giant setup and everything. That's cool, but you might grow into that. Your photographer might be your 20-year-old friend, daughter, son that has a decent camera that can record video, and they're going to go out there and record it. You give them a gimbal and a new iPhone, you can get some pretty good content with a gimbal and a new iPhone. If you don't know what a gimbal is, well, I can't give you guys one. I was gonna say I can give one away, but I can't do that here, unfortunately. but it's just a little holster for your phone that keeps it steady instead of it shaking in your hand and you doing this. It just kind of floats it so that it stays really steady and you can move it around on a handle. That's all a gimbal is. But you can get pretty dangerous with an iPhone and a gimbal. You can pay a 20-year-old $100 for an event that's like, hey, I need you to go shoot this, 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 and this. This is your goal, is to get this kind of footage. Go. And then if you want, when you're ready for your budget of having a $2,000 videographer that really brings the heat and all of that, they're gonna edit and earn your way in there. Because your events, like one of Faith's events, she's probably at the point where she might get some more professional help at that level because she's earned that through running multiple successful events, because it stinks to pay $2,000 for a videographer and 8 people show up to an event that you thought 100 people were gonna show up to. You're like, well, you can go home. Glad I spent that money.
What's your best practices for an event where people don't pre-register? Like it's just like a general invitation?
Why would I do that?
That's another question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there should always be a RSVP.
Yeah.
I always want to know something about them. I need to get my return, even if my return is just your email. Right? A lot of large corporations, that's all they do. They collect name and email for this kind of stuff. And they'll invite you to events and sales and different things, but all they collect is name and email because they're not going to call you, right? Best Buy's not going to pick up the phone. They don't have a team of ISAs calling people. That's our advantage. We have the time and the power to collect enough information and then make better connections than sending 7 emails a day. Zillow is a great example as well. They don't have ISAs. They try and sell that data to make you the ISA to get a hold of that person and then charge you 35% if you do. Freaking sweet business model. They're geniuses, Zillow. You gotta respect them. They run the show over there and it's awesome. It's not my style of how to run this business, but I have a ton of respect for what Zillow does and how they run their business. And it's a little scary how well they do it because they're our competition. But that's all Zillow collects is emails because they're not calling people. They're not. And so, yeah, I don't know if I'd run an event without it.
No.
Now, I've seen events that are run that are non-invitational. A great example is a mortgage day at a bank. This is more of a lender style activity, but agents can do the same thing. Where you go to a bank and you say, hey, I'd like to set up a table here for the day. But the main thing at that table is about capture. Right? The whole reason I'm there is to have my QR code on that table so I can tell people, if you're interested, scan the QR code, because all of it comes back to data, right? And that's an event that's maybe in line with kind of what you were thinking, but that's about as close as to an event that I would run without a registration form up front. But that's when you go to like one of my agents over at downtown, they always get a booth at, what's the Colorado event in September?
Show or?
No, it's not Show Me Colorado. Taste of Colorado. Gosh, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. But he gets a booth every year at Taste of Colorado because 6,000 people are going to pass by that booth every day of that event for 3 days straight. He gets to sit there and give away a TV and collect information by the people who want to get that TV from them. Where I started, we did that at the Cinco de Mayo event, and we just did it all in Spanish, and we would catch 2,000 leads in a weekend by giving away 2 TVs at the Cinco de Mayo event. It was gnarly. It was awesome. Like, it set our business up for the rest of the year when you have 2,000 leads of people who said, you can contact me about real estate. All they really wanted was the TV, but guess what? We're calling all of them. They're all in the database. They all get touched on smart plans. All of that happens, and we wait for them to tell us pound sand. Leave us alone. Okay? Because we have 2,000 other people, or 101,999 other people to go spend our time with. It's fine if you want to get out of here. We didn't spend much money on you to capture your lead information. It's the cost of the TV and the event booth, and at 2,000 leads, cost per lead was still like $3 a lead. I'm down. I'm down for $3 a lead. You'll know when you guys start producing leads that that's really cheap. Most of you guys pay way more than that if you actually looked at your businesses and determine, well, what do I pay per person that comes into my database? How much am I spending? What am I doing? How much time did I spend at open houses and prep to get those 30 contacts this month, or however many you got? Think about that price.
How'd you capture 2,000 names?
Well, this was my first year in real estate, so it was a bear. We had a team of 6 people, and we were all out in the crowd, and we all had stacks of paper. And it was just register, they would write it down, we'd put our name on the back of it and we'd put it into our lead bucket. And then at the end of the event, our admins would go through and sort everybody's different ones and get them into their pile. They'd hand them back to you and say, go put them into the database. Oh, yeah, it sucked. I wish I would have had a QR code then. Would have been a lot easier to say, scan this.
And what's even cooler is at your actual event, you can pull up your Keller Williams app and have them register right then, and it will add them into your command immediately. And you can add them into the smart plan to send them the market analysis every 2 weeks. Directly from our Keller Williams app. It adds them into a contact immediately into your command. So you don't have to add them. It's so
I wish
easy.
I had these tools, doing that stuff as an agent, because I was at a different brokerage during that time. I was not at KW, and we didn't have those tools. They weren't as popular as they are now, but they existed. We could have used them, but instead we had, do you know how much work it is to go through 2,000 stacks of 3x5 pieces of paper?
But it was still a blessing.
Oh,
Like, I had an agent one time, I'm not doing data entry. I'm like, do you wanna get paid? Then you add them, right? Like, you know, just cause it's fine, you still got to add them.
exactly.
So you were saying the Keller Williams app will capture the name and address?
That's
and
right in the
They'll fill it
command.
in. They won't like get it without their consent. They have to.
Right.
type it.
And again, you have consent that you can market to them.
There is a TCPA consent on there
Absolutely,
too.
and it adds them, the favorite thing of mine, it adds them directly into command. For you, and then it will tell you, hey, this person just, registered,
You'll get a
so
notification.
you can
that goes,
add them to a smart plan immediately the second they register. And so like, if you have an event for 100 people and 10 of them wanna know what their house is worth, cool, right here on the app. And they go and the next day, every 2 weeks, they're gonna get, the market analysis sent to them from the smart plan.
That's
So
it.
you add them into the smart plan yourself manually, but it adds them into command. So the next time you send out a happy new year email, it's gonna go to them because they were added through command.
That's it. Like, this system is meant to work together like that. That's why we put it together. Like, the more you use command and read the MREA, the more you see that they are built to work together. Right? That is what command was built for, is to run the MREA systems, even at a solo agent level. They're built to do this stuff. They're built to run the models of KW.
That's why I joined.
This is a model. Right? Like, this model that I'm teaching you today about systems is documented in the new rookie book. It's a little different than what I teach, because that book came out this year, or late last year, I mean. But it's, my plan is just a little bit more. It's got everything that plan has in the rookie book, plus a little bit more. And so these models are built to run in command. Use it. And when you're like, Steven, I want some of that automation Faith was talking about, that's when we sit down for a one-on-one where we can talk about how to set that automations up with getting them onto tags, getting them onto those automatic smart plans. Because it's not set up by default to do that, because it's too complex to be just turned on, because y'all would, you'd be mad at me. Like, Steven, this email went out without this and that. And
It's also very good that it's not like that. I came from a previous company that you had to send out what they gave you. And you could edit a little bit, make a little bit of changes, but that was it. With Keller Williams, we have an open canvas. You can create whatever you want and send out. And it's really powerful because that's what sets you apart compared to these other offices that they make you send the exact same thing. So, you've seen it when you get a lender and there's like 7 lenders send you the exact email.
oh my
You know what I'm
God.
saying? But
They don't
because
even
they're all
change the
marketing to
subject
you
line.
from the same thing and they haven't even changed it or the subject line or made any edits. Well, that's how people feel from those other realtors, from those other companies. They're getting the same, automatic email. And so from here, no one else is getting the same email as you from you because you created it.
All right, let's keep going on our list. So we talked about the 3 Ws. We talked about the registration page, the invite guest tags, the tag invite list. We saw that all. Last step here in week 1 is to order your marketing materials. You all have access to our wonderful marketing director here, Riley Adams. Riley has an event package available for you to order for free. You just need to come to Riley's page and go order it. It takes, I believe, 1 day to get that order in, and help me with the website. It's kwa-marketing.com, I believe. Let's see if I got it right. Sure is. And you can come in here and hit place order. And when you scroll down, you're going to find the event package, hopefully. That will be on there next time I talk to Riley.
Are all of these free?
The only thing you pay for in our marketing is print. So if you want one of these things to be printed, you have to pay for the cost of printing from this machine over here. But the actual order, the design, getting a digital file, all included in your membership of the Market Center. So not so much free, you have to be part of the Market Center. All right, so we'll get that back in there. But you just click on one of these. The open house package is very similar. You give her some information about your event or giveaway, and then she builds out all of the marketing material for the plan that I've put together. Super simple. Why do I tell you to do it so early? So you have time to make edits. This is 2 weeks before you start promoting the event so that you have time to go through it, to look at it, to get it back from Riley in case she is on vacation that 1 week that you were trying to get your order in and she's gone on Thursday. This gives you a buffer to get the material in. But she's gonna give you, I think, 8 different items, multiple square size posts that you're gonna use on social media, as well as the emails, and multiple story size posts to just use on social media. She's going to deliver all that to you with your information on it, with your headshot on it. Very easy way to just have your material ready to go so you can execute the next steps in the plan. So that was week 1. I hope you're noticing we spent a good 40 minutes on week 1. This is where the work is. This is where you have to do the work, is 6 weeks before the event happens to set yourself up for success in the future. Because week 2 is just using what happened in week 1. So you're gonna receive those marketing materials. It usually happens faster than a full week's time. But I give you a week's time for what I just mentioned. And it says, write copy about your event. Is it clear what I mean by copy there? Because for some people, if you've worked in kind of the marketing world, it's a very familiar term. For some people, you're familiar with copy and paste and it makes no sense in here. So if it makes no sense, copy is the writing in your emails, text messages, and social media posts. That is your copy. You need to write that copy for your emails, text messages, and social media. Then you download the Market Center event Smart Plan. I've created a smart plan for you. You still need to go in and add your copy into that smart plan. And yes, AI can help you write this copy. You tell it the event, the date, the time they need to register by, how they're going to register in the link. You give it all the information you can to that AI bot and say, write me a save the date email. Write me a you're invited email. Write me a social media post, save the date. Write me a text message. Write me another text message. And it does all the work for you. I've also included in the resource pack, you are going to find inside of the, oh, that isn't prepare still. So if you go into prepare and you go into the to-do list, you will see right in here, create event, guest tags. Oh, it's not there, sorry. I thought it was in there. And I put it in promote. Right there. So when you go into the promote, AI prompt to help you. I've written a prompt. All you have to do is fill out the pieces of the prompt that affect you and then put it into ChatGPT or Gemini, and it will give you the emails, the text messages, and the social media posts that fit into this plan. So that is an easy button for you to use AI. Just remember it's in the promote. Put that in your notes. It's in promote, step 2. Can I show you guys how to find that Market Center Smart Plan? Yes. This is important. Because if we want to get this plan, it's in command, but you got to go get it. It's not in your account yet. It's just in command in general. So here's how you get it. You're going to go down to Smart Plans. You're going to come up to the library. You're going to type in events and giveaways. No space and and. It's going to oh, singular event, that's why, event and giveaways. Maybe it's singular across both. There it is. You can see I'm the author of this plan. That's how you know you got the right one, because it says my name right there. And then all you have to do is hit add smart plan. So we hit add smart plan and then download. If yours looks like mine, where it won't let you download, that means you already have the plan in your account. So you just close this out, go to my smart plans and search in your smart plans for event. And there it is, my 2025 event and giveaway smart plan. Once it's in your account like this, you need to come right over to the pencil to edit the plan. You see, here's the first email. Week later, a text message goes out. Week later, another email. Week later, another text. You need to edit all of them. Click on the email. You see, we've written a nice little email that's nice and designed. You're going to click on the pencil up at the top where you can change the subject line. Please change the subject line. And you can edit the email right over here. So take a look right there. You're going to edit that email. Continue. And here's where you're going to come in. And you're going to take the photo that Riley sent you when you ordered your marketing, and you bring in the save the date photo right here. You're going to take the copy that you wrote or that AI wrote for you, and you're going to paste it right in here. Notice we have this merge tag. We can add their first name, and if we want to personalize it by clicking on this little plus sign right up here, that allows me to add in these merge fields. Okay. You're going to go through and edit. You're also going to want to edit your button. What link am I going to put on this button?
The survey.
The survey. Well, not survey, but registration form.
Registration.
Right? That's where we go over to Google, click here and click on my responder link to copy, jump back over here and paste it in the web address section so that when they click that button, they go right to my event. And I personally like to link the photo too. So if they click on the photo, it goes to my form as well. And all I have to do is click on the photo, and you see right down here, there's a link section where I'll paste in the same link I did before.
But it's not going to automatically text if you don't have something.
You don't have Twilio. Correct. We'll get to that next. So this is an email. This will go out as long as you have emails of people. This will go out to those people.
Yes.
So we'll save and close after you've made that change. And now the first smart plan, the first email is ready to go. But then we have a text message. This is what the text message says right now. Stephen, don't forget, the Lisio's Property Services event is on date, time, PM. Register now. Registration Ford link? I don't know why I put Ford. Registration link is what that should say. So you need to edit this by clicking on the pencil, and then you just come in and edit. Include the link. Now, I'm glad I thought of this. When you click on this link, you're going to be tempted to click this shortened URL. Do not do this. Not shorten URLs. Number one, when you use a shortened URL with a Google form, it is a static link. So if I realize, oh no, I forgot a question mark on one of my questions, and I want to go back and add that question mark, that shortened link is now dead. Whenever you make an edit, the shortened link dies. The full link is active. It's a live link. So if I make changes, I don't need to change the link. Second reason, your consumers do not trust shortened links. Because of that, if you use a shortened link in your command smart plan, there's a very good chance it will deny your smart plan and will not let you send it out. Because too many consumers have been attacked by shortened links to capture their information. An agent in this office just a month ago got their information phished. I don't know what this is called is phishing, P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G. If you're not familiar with it, that is when somebody sends out a shortened link, almost always in a shortened link, where you click and you think it's going to the command login screen. It looks like the command login screen, but guess what? It is not logging you into command. It just says password is wrong, and you go, my password's not wrong. Well, guess what? They just stole your information. They're going to take it, go log into command. That agent went from 200 contacts to 16,000 contacts in about 30 minutes. Ooh. Yes, and then they tried to send those 16,000 contacts that they added the same link that agent clicked on. Because then they're trying to say, hey, this agent's sending you this email about KW command, and ugly. So shorten links do not really work anymore.
Even Bitly?
Do not use Bitly. Bitly is by far the biggest criminal here around what these other criminals like to use is Bitly links. But Google has its own shortening service, and anytime I have the option, I use the full link. The only time I would ever use a shortened link is if it's with somebody that absolutely trusts me. But even agents like you guys, you've never seen a shortened link in the text messages I send you about my classes. You've never seen them in an email because the smart plans won't usually let them send. And you guys are smart consumers. I've gotten people who said, when I sent a shortened link, is this spam? Is this real? They call me on my phone. Was that you? Yeah, it was. I'll send a full link next time. So I know you're tempted to because you're like, well, my text messages is so long and that link is so long. Get over it. Just pay the extra credits.
Or like you just highlight the words and turn it into a link?
Can't do that in a text message. Can't hyperlink in text. You can in an email. And in the email, I like to just put it in a button if I can. But you'll see here. So here's our text message. Before I move on to the next email and talk about that, I want you guys just to be aware. Oh, that's not what I want. Text message, we click the pencil. Notice this right up here. Send automatic text versus create a text task. You want the text message to go out automatically. You have to have Twilio subscribed into your account. Twilio will start at $3.16 a month for 300 credits. 300 credits will result in about 100 messages. It depends on the length of the message, depends on how many credits it costs. Don't get too in the weeds. The credits are insanely cheap. $3 for 300 credits, we're paying like 10 cents a credit. It's fine with me to bump my plan up to the $11 a month plan to get 1,500 credits if I need it for that event month. And if I don't use them, Twilio credits roll over for 12 months. But you have to get it. You have to get a different phone number. It's not your cell phone number. Because remember, Verizon, my carrier, not in the bulk text message game. Does not want to play in there. Twilio does. So I have a Twilio number. That's where you got the text message from me for this class, was through Twilio, through command. If you don't have Twilio, that's fine. If you're like, Stephen, I want it to come from my number. Great. That means you have to send it. And so you select create a text task. Then instead of the text going out on its own, I'm going to get a task reminder to text all these people. If I added 100 people to the invite list, I'm gonna have 100 tasks to text message every one of those people. So for me, this is where Twilio really shows its value. We're not trying to create a conversation with them through Twilio. That's what people usually get upset with texting bots, right? Is when you're asking them to respond and they think it's a robot and they're right. It is not you. So don't create a conversation through Twilio. If you want a conversation, use your phone. If we're delivering information, that's when Twilio comes in for us. And we deliver the information to them because we see a 25% spike in registrations in the second week when the text message goes out. First week, we usually see 10% registered from our total list. Second week, it jumps up to 25% registered when the text message goes out. So I use Twilio, I stand behind it. It helps you stay protected in TCPA because if they say stop to that message, they're not going to get any more messages from you on Twilio because that's how Twilio is set up. You don't have to do anything in command if they unsubscribe. It won't let you text them again. If they need to start up their subscription where they go, oops, I didn't think it was you. Can you put me back on? All they have to do is reply back start. Now they're resubscribed so you can text them again. So very simple.
Remind them that they can unsubscribe after each and every text or just the first one?
Just the first message sent to them. So for those of you who didn't hear Lydia's question, she asked, does it always remind them if you'd like a phone call or email, please reply back stop? No, not always. Only in the first message you send to that phone number through your Twilio line. So I suggest anytime somebody's added to your database, you have a Twilio intro smart plan that just introduces them to the number. Hey, this is my business line. It's Stephen. We're only going to communicate to you through this line with this value. If you need to get a hold of me personally, here's my cell phone number. And it sends if you prefer a phone call or text message or a phone call or email, reply back stop. But I get that out of the way with my intro message. So they introduce it, you'll get a message, hey, is this you? You say, yep, that's me, it's my business line. I put my Twilio line on my website as my business phone number, because people can call your Twilio line as well. You just can't make calls from your Twilio line, but people can call it. So that's the number I put on my website. So people don't have to have my cell phone number on my website. Little bit of privacy and protection for myself to use Twilio instead of my own phone number. But when they call it, it still rings on my phone. Okay, so if you need some help setting up Twilio, happy to do that with you. It's a 30-minute one-on-one. We can knock it out together. Schedule one with me. If you don't have time, send me an email. I will send you the 3 different articles of instructions, because it's 3 main steps. Subscribe, get your number, forward calls to your phone. So 3 different articles. I'm happy to send you those as well if you want to just try it out on your own. It's pretty simple, but some people like to have a little guidance through there. That's when you'd want to schedule a one-on-one. All right, text messages, we're going to leave it as an automated text. Notice down here, you can choose what time of day the message goes out. You can choose, it's not every time of day, you just get a couple of options. I like to just vary this. One of my messages will go out in the evening. The next text message that you see in my plan down here at the bottom, see this one, when are we sending this one? This one's going out in the morning. So I like to just mix it up a little bit with my text messages. You'll see the emails, you get the same options. Come on. There we go. This email is going out in the afternoon. The only time I don't get the timing option is in the first step. First step, we don't get the timeout. That one happens when we assign it. We assign it for a future date. It happens in the morning for the first touch. And the rest of them happen when you define it. So you see this one, evening 4 to 8, afternoon 12 to 4, morning 8 to noon. You're going to go through and edit this email now. Click on the pencil. You look at the email, you're invited, edit, continue. Same thing as that first email. Change your picture here to the image that Riley sent you. Change your information here in the copy section. Link your button. Hey, if you want to throw some extra photos in there, go for it. If you don't, delete them. Delete, delete, delete. Now it's gone. But if you want to toss in some photos, if you don't know what to do, go to Gemini and say, give me a picture of a bunch of people having fun at a happy hour, and put a couple of happy hour pictures that AI generated in there just to create a little FOMO right there in your form, right above your save your spot link of people seeing lots of fun, having a happy hour fun in 2 pictures, and that link right up there, save your spot. It's a nice little call to action that's a little bit more discreet than click here, but give me a little FOMO and some pictures, having my link right above it. Great way to increase your registrations. So we save and close that that email, change the subject lines. Don't forget to change these subject lines in here. And then you're going to edit one more text message at the end. Same thing, hit the pencil. You can see where you need to make your edits if you want to follow this, or just paste in what AI told you or what you wrote in your text message. And remember, this one is usually going out very close to the event time or the registration ending date. And so usually the language reflects that. Hey, 1 more day left, or there's 1 more day to register. And remember, if you are doing your weekly task, seeing who registered, then going in and removing that invite tag, putting on the registered tag, removing them from the smart plan. Because then they won't get these messages, hey, register for this again and again, because they already registered. Okay, that's why these tags are so important, so that you go into your system, switch the tags out, and then remove them from the plan so they don't get these extra touches after they've registered. Fair enough? Questions?
No, I got an extra register from you after I registered for the class, or you registered me for.
Yeah, that's automation set up through Calendly, the system I use for a class and one-on-one registration. And Google doesn't quite have stuff like that. There are other form builders, like Jotform is a great example, but it costs money. Jotform will have a monthly charge, but they have some more workflow options, is what you'll see those called in those programs. And workflows are, okay, they register, they get this email, they answered this, they get this email, that kind of stuff. So usually you have to pay for that kind of stuff, and it's convenient. For us, I mean, even at like 800 people registered for an event, we don't deal with it, no. We have an admin though. The admin helps do some of the tasks that you guys are responsible for doing, but it's a great way to know what your admin's going to do when you hire them. If you don't do it, it's hard to teach or tell an admin to do something you don't know what you're doing either. So this is great work. Even if you don't have an admin now, learn it now so that you can leverage it later. That's the plan, y'all. I want you to notice day 1, day 8, day 15, and day 22. Those are 1 week breaks in between. So if you start this plan on a Monday, all the touches will be on a Monday. If you start it on a Thursday, all the touches will go out on a Thursday. You can change it by just clicking this wait 7 days. If I wanted the first one to go out on Monday and this one to go out on Tuesday, well, I'd change this to 8. That's going to affect the rest of my plan. These will all now go out on the next day. But you can play with your timing if you'd like. I don't suggest it until you are comfortable with smart plans, doing this. If it's your first round of using a plan like this, leave it the way it is. It's nice and easy to just have a 1 week touch rotation. You know the touches go out on Tuesday, so you know to go into your system on Wednesday or Thursday to do the tag switch, right? Because nobody probably is going to register until the next touch goes out the next Tuesday, and you've collected the registrations from the last touch. Whew. This is the work. This is all the work to set up the next 4 weeks. This is why this is, again, remember, we're 6 weeks before the event here. We're 5 weeks before the event here. Promotion starts the week after week 5. This is all to get that promotion ready so that when you run the promotion, you are not having to send that email out on week 1 and then send the text out on week 2 and then the email again on week 3. The smart plan runs it all for you. You have to take the time to get the materials to build the smart plan. And it might feel like a lot of work now, but I'll tell y'all, this takes me about 2 hours to do. That's it, 2 hours. I charge the agents a lot of money for me to do it for them. No, I don't have time to do it right now. So maybe in the future, you can ask if I can run your campaign for your event, but it costs $250 for me to do 2 hours of work. So if you're okay to pay that, please come contact me. But I'm telling you, do it yourself. You'll get more value in doing it yourself and learning this and being in touch with it more than leveraging it out for now. Once you have your own admin, you will see the power of this, you'll know it, and go from there. But talk to me if you want some leverage. So let's talk about the promotion week. What's happening this week? This will go much faster. So 4 weeks out, we know that the save the date email goes out in our smart plan, and then remove invite tag and add guest tag to registered attendees. You do that every one of these weeks. So I'm not going to repeat it, but you need to do it each week. And then here's the new stuff that we haven't talked about. Social media. How many of you have a business page on social media? A couple of us, most of us. Business pages you can schedule posts out on. So you can get ahead of this a little bit. How many of you who have business pages don't get any business from your business page? That's for sure. Same. So most likely, you'd probably be better off running this on your personal page for the promotion. There's no scheduling in the personal pages. You got to do it in the moment. You want something on your personal page, you got to go in that day and put that post up, put that story up. So do what's best for you. Don't lean on convenience here. Well, it's easier to schedule the post on my business account. No one's going to see it. It's like, let's just be honest. How many people are going to your business page? How many people are going to your personal page? Put it on the one that more people go to, more people engage with. It's going to be better for you, even if it's more of a pain in the butt. But again, you're going to be in the system. You're going to see people replying to it, comments, and it gives you the chance to get in there and reply to those comments, which is going to help boost the algorithm and get that post out to more people. So social media, there is a plan. Save the date post, and then an announcement on Wednesday. Hey, this event's happening. We send a save the date post. Hey, save the date, November 29th, or what month are we in? January 29th, happy hour over here. Week 2, pretty similar. Smart Plan sends out the text now for us. Social media on Tuesday, timeline post. Friday, story post. Make phone calls to invited contacts and manage your event tags. I like to make phone calls. I'm a phone call person. What I often hear is, Steven, I invited 600 people to the event. I can't call all of them in 4 weeks. Okay, call the VIPs that you invited. Call the segment that needs to be contacted. If I'm running a happy hour, I'm not calling the segment of my people that I've labeled has kids. Probably not the event for the people who have kids if I'm running a happy hour on a Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock. They're in the pickup line. They can't come, but I am calling the people I've labeled no kids. Those are the calls I want to make. I might invite all of them because I can't assume they're in the pickup line, but I'm not going to spend a lot of my time going to reach out to those people if I already know that it's probably not the right event for them, because I'm going to hold another event that's more family oriented later in the year, right? So be smart with your phone calls. Don't just let it be an excuse that it's too many or I don't have time. Trust me, you do if you make the time.
I always say don't hold an event unless you're planning on calling to invite people. Like, I mean, the whole point of having the event is for the touches. It's not even about the event. If they don't come, like I've had events that I gave 550 tickets to the Rockies game. And there would be like 50 people who didn't show up and all these agents would be like, oh my God, what did you do with those tickets? I'm like, it's not about the tickets, it's not about the money. You know, who cares if they didn't come? Like it was about the touch to invite them, like all the touches that you get to do to invite them. And then and the video thing, the coolest thing about doing the video that you mentioned earlier is afterwards I would send out all these photos after the event and be like, hey, check to see if you were in the video, and everyone would tag you. There was one time I had 850 tags from my Rockies game the next day. So who were they talking about? Who were they talking, you know? And every year since then, people ask me, when are you going to the Rockies? When are you going to the Rockies? Yeah.
Call them. It's a great excuse for a valuable touch. Week 3, same thing, 2 weeks out from the event, the email goes out in the smart plan. You have a couple of social media pieces. Hit your story, run your manage event tags, and then any follow-up calls from the week before that you didn't get a hold of anybody, or future calls, not future, more calls to that same list of invitees. And then
on the social media, on your storyline, on your business page, you can put the link for the registration form right there.
Feature the post if you're in a group. You might post this in a group too. Make sure to check with your group's admins before you post any kind of events in there.
So you're good at
You go face route, create your own group. That works too. And then week 4, it's the only one that really changes. This is when you need to go in and create a new smart plan. New smart plan that's very simple, where I usually include a text and an email. That is my instructions for the event for the registered people. So I go in, I pull my registered tag, right? January happy hour, January registered. And then I'm going to write a smart plan that has an email that just says, hey, the event is tomorrow or in 2 days from this time to this time. Here's the parking situation, or here's the travel or transportation situation, whatever I need to inform them about goes out in that email. And the text message is the same thing, just via text. Probably shorter as well. I'm going to condense it, but I don't need the link. They're already registered. It's a happy to see you, can't wait to see you, information about the event, little touch reminder. But as long as we stay up on our tags, it's really easy to go into command after you build that smart plan. You go in, pull the tag, filter, registered, select all, add the smart plan, and then you send your plan with your text and email. Last chance posts go out on social media. Last chance, I added this one in that you won't see in the document, but we do this now for all of our events. We take whatever our last chance post is, and then we just add stickers to it. 5 days left, 4 days left, 3 days left, 2 days left, 1 day left to register. And we do a countdown on our story, because the story goes away after a day. So we just wait for that story and we just do the countdown 5 days before the event or before the registration deadline for the event. Because often we put the registration deadline well before the event so that we know how many, like if we're doing food, we have to do that, right? Because we need to order the correct amount of food with our caterer to be able to know how many people, we need to know how many people are going to come, right? So we might close registration the week before the event actually happens. So our caterer has a week to make sure that the food is lined up appropriately, or the gift bags, or whatever it is in your event that may be head count, tied to the head count of your event, okay? So we do that. We do the Thursday last chance story post, same thing. And then you run the event. After that, it's run the event. Be the golden table, be the mayor at your event. Question?
Yeah, so when we create the smart plan at the end, that's like, here's instructions for showing up. And then if we have those last minute people that register, does this smart plan immediately send it to them once you switch the tag, or you then have to manually resend it to them?
You have to manually resend it. If you switch the tag out, we can set it up so that it does that. I just don't recommend it. Because it's probably more work to set up the automation than it is to just go in and add those 5 people manually. Because you can literally just select those 5 people and add them to the plan at the same time. So that's how I would manage it. If you're getting a ton of registrations late, like 30, I would talk to you about like, let's just get them registered on time, right? Like, let's fix that problem before we try and adapt to them not following our process as best we can. But yeah, run the event, make sure you're documenting the event, make sure you're including your social media in the event. Like Faith said, she had 850 tags. Like, imagine what that did for her algorithm. Those tags put Faith's name in front of all of their friend groups. 850 people's friend groups, not 850 people. That was probably closer to at least 2,500 people that probably saw Faith's name that had never seen it before. And look at the light they saw it in. We went to the Rockies game and Faith took us and she's the freaking hero. And then now they're like, who's this Faith lady? What do you mean she invited you to the ride? And then if I were you, I would be going into social media the week after and looking at all those posts, and every person that liked that post on that person's page, they're getting a friend request. Every person that commented, I'm going to comment back on their post and send them a friend request and let those come in. And when I get the responses back, you better believe I have a message already written that as soon as they accept my friend request, they're getting a direct message. Hey, thanks for connecting. I hope you get to make it to my next event. I know we connected after blah, blah, blah. And I get to start building the relationship through social media. And the more you can plan this out and just know that you have a process to follow, the easier this becomes for you to not go, what do I do now? Well, follow the process. The next step is to follow the process. And then you don't have to rely on your motivation to do all this. You just ask yourself, what's the next step? What do I need to do next? It's in the process. Now, the event happens, everybody goes home, they're all happy, social media is blown up. Now your work begins again. Because now you have all these registrations that have come in. You have all this data about those registrations. Now you need to do something with it. And the first thing, I listed it lower here at the bottom. It should be at the top. But you need to import that file into Command. Now here's the thing. If I have a contact who's got a name and a phone number and an email, and I sent them this form, they filled it out, you use the same email and phone number, when I try and import that person into Command, Command's gonna say, there's a duplicate. So when you do add that full file into Command, you're gonna get a list of duplicates that are already in there. Those, you just have to manually go add in the information. There's just no way around it. That's what you need to do. So you get the people who didn't register, and then you just look at your file and go, all right, Steven's email is this. And I go into this Steven in Command and I add in the email and the address. And I might add some tags in based on their answers. The investment interest, wants to sell in 26. All those tags I mentioned before from our form answers, that's where I'm getting those tags, because then I'm not going to make the calls in the moment. That's when I go back into Command and say filter has referral. And then there's my list of the people that have a referral for me. That's my first call. The sellers are my next call. The buyers are my next call. And the interests are my next calls after that. And I'm starting at the highest value calls, referrals, and then working my way down the funnel of interested in selling, interested in buying, and then any other questions or any other data that I'm getting from there. But I use that to help me and I build it into Command. You have to make sure that that data goes into Command, and then you send your thank you email. That's to everybody who has the registered tag, gets the thank you email. Everybody who has the invite tag still gets the sorry we missed you email. That usually for us has a call out for our next event in the sorry we missed you. Sorry we missed you. Here's a photo that's awesome of the event to make you feel bad for not being there. And then right below that says, look forward to our next event in May. We usually don't give a date at that time because we usually don't know the date. We just know the month it's going to happen. So we say, look out for our next event happening in May where we're taking 800 people to the Rockies game. Right? And then they're like, oh, now they're expecting it. And it's coming 6 weeks before May. All right, send sorry we missed you. post pictures of the video. We talked about that. I do recommend doing it over 1 week. Don't just dump all of your photos and videos on Monday after the event. Use that content a little bit more, spread it out. Might be 2 weeks even if you have enough content, but I'm gonna sprinkle it across my social media for a while. I'm gonna get as much juice as I can from that blueberry and not just throw 50 pictures up there at once. If I have 50 pictures from the event, it could be 50 days. That could be 10 days of 5 each. Like, content's one of the hardest things to produce for you guys on social media. That's what we're doing this for as well. It gives us content during the event, after the event. Spread it out. We talked about them tagging you. And then finally, a bonus. We talked about this too. For the real estate related responses, giving them a tag and command. Like I said, if you're spreadsheet oriented and you want to learn some cool formula stuff to make the spreadsheet have the tags in there, we can sit down for a one-on-one and I can show you what I do there. Because what I do is I get a little formula that builds a tag column in my spreadsheet for the registration form. When I bring that into command, those tags come into command. So if you want that bonus, run one of these events normally, and then we can go through and I can show you, here's how you can make all those tags happen without having to look at each answer. It'll just print them out and you can just add them right into command. So simple stuff to make these effective. And today, that's what we went through. We went over why, how to prepare, how to promote, manage your registrations, and follow up with them afterward. This is a simple system. It is complex though. The first time you run it, it's hard. The second time it's easier. The third time you're starting to really feel it. By the fourth time, you won't even have to think about doing this stuff. You can copy a lot of the smart plans. So if you make one for one event, you make a copy of that plan for the next event, then go change the pieces you need to change. Once you do it once, it becomes easier and easier every time. And then hopefully a year, 2 years from now, you're not doing it yourself, but handing it over to a virtual admin, handing it over to an admin and saying, here's all your job. You're going to do all the social media posts. You're going to build the smart plan. You're going to write the copy. They're going to do all those things because what's the only part you really need to do during an event? What are the things you need to do?
Be the mayor.
You got to be the mayor. So you got to be there and you got to be yourself at the event. And you got to make the calls to get people to the event. They want to hear from you in this situation. They already got a digital invite for an email. They got a digital invite with a text message. When they get that phone call, that is what's going to get more registrations than anything. Is you saying, what are you doing on January 29th in the afternoon? Nothing? Well, great. We have a happy hour going on and we'd love for you to be there. Can I register you now if you have a few minutes to chat, or I can send you the link so you can register on your time. Great, we'll see you there. It's an easy call to make. Doesn't take too much to deliver that value, and people are just like, oh, cool, they wanted me there. They might not say that, that's the feeling they're getting. Like, oh, they want me to belong with them. People like to belong. And last, let's talk, we already went through all that. Questions and ahas. Somebody tell the group, what's an aha? Yeah. An idea, but more than that.
A bright idea.
What's it stand for? Come on, somebody's been in my class.
Agents helping you.
Thank you, Peter.
Oh.
Agents helping agents. So when I ask you for an aha, I want to hear something that was the light bulb moment for you today. Or maybe it wasn't a light bulb moment today. Maybe it was something you needed to hear today that you heard in the past. And then hearing it today was like, oh, I needed to hear that today. Share that. Or it might be something where you heard me say it and you're like, you nodded your head real big when I said it. Because you're like, yep, I know that to be true. And it might help others to hear that from your point of view and not just mine. So I'm gonna ask again, can we share some ahas from today's class? Please.
I just wanted to say thank you, Faith, for
Thank you,
sharing
Faith.
your experience.
Thanks, Stephen.
Yeah, totally. Don't do the event unless you're gonna make the touches.
Totally, like, don't do it. Like,
Powerful
it's so much
statement.
time, if you're gonna take time, money, and energy out of your business to do an event, make it worthwhile. Even open houses, like I won't do an open house if I'm not inviting 50 or more people to that open house. Because that 4 hours that you're spending on that Saturday is valuable time.
You could be calling other people during those 4 hours. How many calls could you make in 4 hours, you know? That's what I always think.
100.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give up 100 calls to hold this house open. I better get 50 people there, so it's worth my time.
And even if 8 people come, if one converts into a client, it's
All we
worth
need.
it.
Just need one.
Love it, spend $2,000 on the video.
That's still worth it.
It's still worth
You
it, I
pay
guess,
way
yeah.
more
In
than
our
$2
market,
grand,
it would be tough to lose out even after one deal, and y'all, just from my own tracking, I've seen over $15 million in volume come out of this event system. From my own tracking, that there's plenty of people who run this that I don't get to hear about their conversion stories. But I have heard $15 million in volume of stories that came from Steven, I ran your event system. I connected with somebody I had not connected before. I got their phone number through the event registration form. We connected after the event. They bought a $1.3 million home. They bought a $700,000 home. They sold their $800,000 home. And it comes from these touches. And these are agents that don't like to call their database and didn't before. But when I gave them this, they're like, I can call because that agent that got a $1.5 billion deal, she's very athletic. If you know Casey over at our office, you'll know her. She does all the handstands on social media. She's wonderful. So all her events are very sporty. She runs a pickleball tournament now every year, running this, where over 100 people will show up to her pickleball tournament. She closes deals out of that tournament every year. And she just runs this.
Yeah, the Rockies game, statistically, it would be 7 transactions. I would close within that year of doing the event. So it cost me like $8,000, but I'd have like $100,000 in compensation from it.
How many of you would spend $8,000 to make 100?
Yeah.
All of us, right? Good business sense. I'm glad you guys have that. Good business sense to do these events because you can control the cost really well for these and invite, like if you can't run an event and buy dinner for 100 people, don't. Buy dinner for 10, buy dinner for 5, buy dinner for 1. Find where you're at, but you need to do this stuff. Whether it's the little micro events all the way down to a coffee date, all the way up to renting out the zoo or whatever is the big, massive event you want to run. It's all possible. And this is it. I've done the campaigns for all those events and they all still work, right? It's just, maybe it's a smaller audience that you're inviting to the micro event. Maybe it's a bigger audience and it's your whole database that you're inviting to a client appreciation or whatever it is. But I can tell you events are a powerful tool to help you find business when you do it right. And this system will help you do it right. Any other ahas?
Yeah, I had a party, it was a while ago, and I invited 275 people that I knew. I still know a lot of them.
Mhm.
And 175 of them showed up. If that would have been a real estate thing, that would have been awesome.
Crushed.
And that was some party, Roxanne.
It was, and it had a theme. It was called a fish party. Wear your fish stuff, fish hat.
PHISH.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
fish.
fish, F-I-S.
Yeah, the GM band.
Yeah.
That fish.
No, this was
I like the
a
other
fish.
fish more.
No, this was the catch. the
This is a
fish
swimming
type.
Catch
Yeah.
the fish.
Yeah. Wear your fish stuff.
Who's got a fish hat?
I love that.
You know, you put
Like
your lures on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Fishing,
Oh, great.
fishing hat.
I even
Nerd.
said, whatever, fishnet stockings. So
Oh.
they all got a scavenger thing at the door.
This
It
is the
said-
stuff that people go bonkers for. Like these
Well,
kind of events, people go bonkers for themed
Here's my
events, I tell
problem.
you.
These people were from all different demographics.
Awesome.
And so I didn't want them to clump and get bored, So I gave them a scavenger hunt at the door. When they came in, they got a scavenger hunt sheet. So even if you didn't want to be part of that, you were still part of it. Because people would come up to you, do you know somebody who caught a fish over 50 pounds?
It's like
You know,
a clue.
Yes, it was great.
It's like a-
Nobody clumped. It was a total success. And it's a great idea for this, but it's an aha.
Yep.
Because I was trying to figure out how I could use something like that
Yeah. And
to do this.
do it again. So I just do it again. You don't need to make any, real estate doesn't have to do anything with this.
No,
Apply
but
some of
it's
the
a-
tools
Sure.
so that you can get the benefit of running it
Yes.
through your real estate business, but run the same event, invite the same people, say fish party number 2.
If we circle back to Jason Abrams,
Yeah.
he said there's a lot of agents that do events like this. Just do an event that you wanna do.
Anyways, yeah.
Then it's lead generation that you wanna do. It's not cold calling fifty.
Yeah, I call that life. When you align your work life to just what your normal life is, which you all have the opportunity to do running your own business, then it's not work, it's just life. right? You're just living your life when Libby is gonna run an event at her gym that she's going to anyway, and is gonna just invite people to be around her when she's in her space anyway.
Great.
Albeit, like, did you hear the story about the walker lady and then I asked about real estate on the pants lady,
Pants.
right? I think those together, right, those strategies together, freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
Please.
So it's like kind of an aha, kind of a question,
Okay.
a little specific, but so I'm also a dietitian and I do anywhere from 2 to 3 workshops a month where I go, and so I have one this week where I'm doing a little nutrition education and then we're making some chia pudding. But for these events, like these workshops, I'm trying to figure out how I can at least promote or say that I'm a realtor, but at the same time, it's like, I feel really weird. I'm very new at this, but like, I feel weird being like, hey, I'm a dietitian, you should work with me, but hey, I'm also a real estate agent, you should work with me. And I feel like all I'm doing is, so I'm just curious, 1, is that a bad idea? And 2, how can I bring it in without it being unprofessional to just like throw it in at the end kind of thing?
That was kind of my similar question, just
Yeah.
worded
Yeah.
better.
So little different situation than what you're talking about, because you're collecting information and for dietitian stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Clients.
it definitely can feel like you're pulling the rug out from underneath them if you're like, come to my dietitian thing, and then by the end of it, you're saying, buy real estate from me.
Right.
That's sounds like probably where you're feeling the
Like, I feel like it's inappropriate.
Yeah, and it is a little bit inappropriate. It's a little bait and switch, right? Like where they come in for this diet stuff. Now, does anybody have any advice for her on how to integrate her real estate business into her dietitian event?
So one thing, like on my business card, I have, like, I'm an author and a speaker, and I have it on the back of my business card, so I would do a dual side business card. So you have your both businesses on the same card.
Okay.
And so then when you're passing it out, they'll be like, oh, you're a real estate agent too?
Okay.
So like, so that way you're not saying, hey, Wes, do you wanna buy a house from me?
Yeah.
You just let them discover it, and like I have my Amazon link to like Amazon for my book on my card, so that's one way I've done it, and then also at the event, to keep them separate. And then unless people ask you at that event.
So like at the event, just like don't even mention real estate.
Yeah, but if you have your business cards there to pass out, or have a goodie bag with your business card that's double-sided, you know,
Okay.
obviously not this week, but your next one, right?
Right.
And really do that. It's been really effective for me. And then in your signature line, you can also put both things in your signature line
Okay.
when you send out an email. So it's very a soft touch without saying, by the way, you want to buy a house from me. And so then people start to, yeah. And then the most important thing is bring value. The more value you bring, and people, when you become invaluable, people will reach out to you and hire you.
Yeah.
And so that's the most important thing, is to show value.
The only like real estate piece I might put into the event that I've seen other agents do is they might say something like, at the beginning, they get people together, and the most real estate they'll say is, today's event is made possible by my real estate team, or sponsored by my real estate team. And that's it, that's all they say. What we do in our events for the Deming Group is we always will have a QR code at the events to capture that information, because in our database, they love to bring other adults with them. They love to say, hey, we have this going on, and they'll register 3-4 adults, and we don't catch their information. So we want that ability to do so, where you might have a QR code posted just somewhere very nicely and easily that says, thinking about selling, and has a QR code that for the people who are thinking about selling that are there and now have trusted you, might scan that QR code where you're giving them the option to engage with your real estate business through that form, instead of forcing it upon them by saying, hey, you came to this event, so now you're getting my real estate information. That feels kind of icky. But if they say, no, I'd be interested in that. And maybe in your form for those events that you're registering dietitian, do you have any real estate needs at the moment? Or some question that might tell you that you can follow up with them about real estate a little bit more comfortably if they've risen their hand saying, that'd be okay. Right? So maybe just consent would be okay in a form that, would you be okay with me contacting you about real estate? And people are gonna say yes, and a lot of people are gonna say no. But then, like Faith said, the more value you bring, the less this is gonna be an issue, right? And so you have a great database to touch and you have brought them value, you just are going to continue to figure out, how do I pair them together? Right? And that's a job in itself, but you have, Libby runs another business, Faith runs another business. Do you still run another business?
Well, that's where most of my contacts come from, whether I run.
Was a business you ran before,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
I run other businesses as well. And so there are other people doing it, and pick their brains, ask them more questions and say, how did you do this? And then try. The more value you build, the more room you also give yourself for mistakes or not doing it the way that you hoped, but it still works. And the more value you bring, the more grace that they'll give you with that.
And does the value have to be real estate related?
No, it shouldn't be.
Like, it just-
Most of the time, it shouldn't
value?
be. Right, like nobody, unless it's like a seminar, like first time home buyer class, investor class. Yeah, those events are gonna be focused there, but otherwise, I'm not really talking real estate unless somebody else asks me about it at the event. We're collecting the data up front, but that's the only, like, the event is the event. That's why the follow-up happens after the event, where I call them and investigate their answers after the event, because I want them to deliver, I need to deliver that value first and that trust in the event before I call them and start asking them real estate questions.
This is a natural law of reciprocity.
Yep.
When you give without expectations, like don't give because you want something in return, that's not giving. But when you bring value, people naturally want to reciprocate. And experiences are also, there's only two things people can't take away from you. One is your education and the other one are experiences. So create an experience. And that's why these events are so important, because people remember experiences.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, Faith, that email you sent me 2 years ago really changed my life. Alrighty. You take just a moment. That's all I have for you today. I hope you learned something. I hope you took something that you can take right into your next event you're gonna run to get some help. Contact me if you need any additional help, but if you take a moment and tell me how did I do today with our presentation, select today's class, the event and giveaway systems, and give me some feedback. I do read all of this feedback, usually right after the class, because, I gotta get my feedback in. But I use this feedback as well. If you tell me I didn't do something well, I'm gonna think about that and add it into the next class. If you thought something was really awesome, I'm gonna take that feedback as well and try and make that happen even more. And so I use this every time you guys fill out this form. I am looking at it, using it to help me become better at my craft. So if you would, fill that out. If you
Well, it
didn't,
doesn't work for me.
son of a gun,
Oh,
Yeah.
it worked on mine.
maybe you have to give it a moment. It might,
Is it possible that if I'm on a different Google account, I have like 4 Google, do I have to be on my KW one?
no.
Cause it just says, sorry, unable to open file at this time.
Oh, weird.
You'll get a link in your email.
Okay.
And speaking of emails, is there anybody who did not register that I need to write your email down to make sure you get on the follow-up list? Does anybody not register? Anybody on Zoom not register? You can put your email in the chat to add yourself to the list.